Let's go over the 𝗕𝗘𝗘𝗪𝗏 M100 mechanical keyboard. I'm gonna go over all the different features of this mechanical keyboard, set it up, connect it to a tablet, to a phone, computer, go over a sound test so you can hear how this keyboard sounds with its gasket mount, and then talk about who this keyboard is really for. So let's get started. Okay, so let's unbox the keyboard. So it's got a nice plastic cover over it, which is nice. Keep the keys safe. We have the instruction manual here. Then we have the actual keyboard. And then we have the cables that are in here. That'll be your USB-A to USB-C cable. And then we have a few extra switches. I want to also switch out some of these switches in the keyboard so you can see just how to do that if you're unfamiliar with hot swappable keyboards. This is hot swappable. You can change these out. Our 3 and 5 pin hot swappable. Again, we'll talk about that in a second here. Okay, so here is the keyboard. Really solid structure to it. Fairly heavy, which I like in keyboards, especially the 96% layout that this is with the numpad. Let's just first have a look at the keyboard itself. So it's a nice looking keyboard. I like the color scheme. It's a little bit on the heavier side, which I like. That way you know it's a more solid, sturdy keyboard, especially with something that has a numpad. You want it to be a little bit heftier, which is nice. The plastic feels good. Caps are PBT. That way they are resistant to wearing out. So it's common for all your keycaps to be PBT. The color scheme looks really good. Have a look on the top here. So the USB-C connection goes in. Look on the side, nothing much on the sides. And then on the back here, you can see we have 2 levels of stands like most keyboards do. So that's really nice. And then right here, a really cool design is they have their little dongle, their USB-A dongle, and it is magnetic, which is really cool. So it just slides right in there. You just grab that, and that can be your connection. Plug that into your computer, and you can have one of the 3 connections, which is really cool. Either the dongle, Bluetooth, or USB-C. So really nice design, it feels really good. And this is the little device that you'll change for the Bluetooth connection, and where you can change the actual keyboard to be on. As you saw, turning it on, we have the RGB backlights. It's important to note that the RGB software is only available for Windows computers. So if you want a lot of customization with software, you'll need a Windows computer, but this is compatible with Mac. Okay, and then the look of them, so we can see the keycaps. You can see there's writing on the fronts of them as well. Here, we can see that there's icons, numbers, text on the front of the keycaps as well. And what I like most about this keyboard is the size. It being 96%, not your full-size keyboard. I always like having a numpad, but with a full-size keyboard, it's just too big. I want it to be compact. I want it to be something that's not going to take up the entire desk while still being able to have the numpad. So that's really nice. Just for comparison here, we can compare it to my MacBook Air. We can see that a full-size keyboard is almost the same width of the MacBook Air. It's just a little bit smaller, just to give you some perspective there. Okay, and then the knobs here again. So we have the Bluetooth connection. It's a little bit small. Go ahead and pull that up for you. So right here, we have Bluetooth 1, Bluetooth 2, then Bluetooth 3, and then the very bottom here is our 2.4 gigahertz connection. So it's really small. So that could be a little bit bigger. That little information about the Bluetooth 1, Bluetooth 2, 3, and 2.4 gigahertz. And of course, we have our percentage that the battery is at for our keyboard. All right, and then let's do a sound test. As mentioned, this has a gasket mount design, and it has sound dampening. So the keyboard is built for a thocky type sound and soft typing feel. So the multiple layers of the dampening material, it cuts down on the annoying echo sounds that you get, and it gives you a more premium feel. And also the switches. These switches, let's have a look at one of the switches. These are linear switches, meaning that there is no bump or any interruptions from the start of the press down on the key until it bottoms out. Also, what's nice about these switches in here, they are pre-lubed, meaning that the inside mechanisms in here are pre-lubed, so it's a much smoother, creamier sound. These are called creamy switches by MK, the MK creams. They got the color of cream, they're pre-lubed, they're linear, so incredibly smooth. Okay, so let's just press some keys so we can hear the sound of this. Okay, so I'm gonna hold my mic close to the keyboard so we can hear the sounds of the keyboard. So that was the traditional thocky sound that you get with gasket mount and sound dampening keyboards, as well as with the linear switches. That was a very thocky sound to it, and the feeling was great. It felt like all the vibrations were being dampened. It wasn't ringing throughout the keyboard. I feel like I can type on this forever. So incredibly smooth sound to everything. Okay, and then the battery life of this keyboard, with the RGB lights on, it'll last around 60 hours, and then with the lights off, it'll last around 400 hours. So a very long time. Even the 60 hours is quite a long time. You wanna make sure that you turn off the keyboard when you're not using it to preserve the battery life if you're using a lot of RGB lights. And if you're keeping them off, you can really just keep this on. 400 hours is quite a long time. You're not gonna feel like you're having to charge this that often. Okay, and then just a quick overview of just the functions with the backlight. So if we want to change the backlight, we can just change the brightness. FN up, changes the brightness. FN down, lowers the brightness. And then FN period, we can change the mode that it's in. So there are a ton of different modes that we can choose from. And then we can switch from a Mac to Windows system, pressing the FN S for Mac. We can see that it changes as well. Really small right there, it says Mac. And then we can change back to Windows by FNA. Then you can restore the factory settings by holding and pressing FN and spacebar. Then we can change the backlight speed as well. FN left and right arrow keys. And we can also do a lock of this. So we can see also on the bottom here, we can see that we have graphics showing the brightness as well as the speed. And then we can lock the windows by doing FN and lock. So that's really cool that it has those little icons there on the front of the keycaps. So I like how you can change the configuration by just doing FN, A, and S. There's no dedicated switch, which is kind of nice. Just makes the keyboard a little bit cleaner. And then this right here is the volume knob. Counterclockwise to lower the volume, clockwise to raise the volume, and push in to mute. Okay, and then to connect to Bluetooth, press FN, Q, W, E, those three keys at the same time. And then we can go to our Bluetooth settings and make the connection. So go ahead and show you there. There is the RK-M100 at the very bottom. So that's how you make that connection. We'll go ahead and connect it, ask us for the configuration, just press a couple buttons, and then we're good to go. And it is now connected to my MacBook Air. Okay, so now let's go over how to change out the switches. You'll first want, of course, turn off your keyboard. And it's also nice in the box, you do get this little tool. It can be used to take off the keycaps as well as take out the switches. So this is the tool that we use to take off the keycaps. Go ahead and just take one off so you can see. Take off the L, very simple. Just have it grip over. It fits in just like that. Then you just go ahead and hold down the keyboard and pull up. That's it. Then we can see our little cream switch there, the same one that we have in our little bag. And to take that out, very easy. We take this tool, it has the little prongs on the side so it can get around. And you'll wanna have the prongs going top to bottom. That's where the little sections are on the bottom of each switch to pull up. And you'll feel it dig into the bottom. See right there, you wanna also make sure that this is extended all the way down so it gets under the switch, and go ahead and grip, hold down on the keyboard, and then pull up. Simple as that. So the RK Cream switch itself is a universal design. You can use it as a 3-pin switch, standard legs for plate mounting, or with all 5 pins for extra PCB stability if the board supports it. So these switches can also be used on other mechanical keyboards as well, which is really cool. And then to put back in our switch, all we have to do is line up the little metal pins that we see right here, line them up with the slots right there, the very light colored slits on the bottom and the right corner. Make sure those line up. Go ahead and put it on in, make sure it's in straight. You don't want to be putting it sideways, put it straight down. And then we can grab our keycap and we just push it on down, straight down, and our keyboard is good to go. So that's how we can change out all of these keys, the switches, really easy to do. And just comparing this to some other mechanical keyboards, Red Dragon mechanical keyboard, smaller layout. And you have one more right here. All of these have knobs as well. So you can just compare the size of them. Okay, so who is this keyboard really for? Really for anyone who wants a really solid mechanical keyboard that has pre-lube switches, that is not going to break the bank, and is gonna have high quality thocking sound, and has multiple ways to connect through Bluetooth, a little dongle, or through a cable, and who wants a full-size keyboard, really important full-size keyboard without it taking up so much space on your desk. That's who this would be for. So if you are a beginner, this is absolutely a good keyboard for you. Beginner meaning if you're new to mechanical keyboards, having a gasket mount, having pre-lube switches, having it hot swappable, having it be full size and not too big, really makes a big difference, and it's a great all-in-one solution here right out of the box. And even if you are intermediate or advanced, this still could be a keyboard for you as it is high quality. Plastic feels great on it. It's not your ultra premium mechanical keyboard, but it is a keyboard that will work well in most all situations, whether you're gaming, whether you're just having to type a lot, whether you're at your desk all day, for work, or at home. So in my opinion, this is definitely a mechanical keyboard worth picking up.